right, welcome back, ladies and gents. On Overgrowth, get right into these player introductions. Spawning in the top right-hand corner. Wearing the blue trunks tonight, representing my insanity, it is the Protoss player, Rain.
And his opponent, spawning in the bottom left, representing, well, red trunks, but also bleeding blue, representing EG, it is gonna be Jaedong.
Yeah, and Jaedong, like we said earlier, alluded to a little bit, coming out of some really good standard play to come out of that last group. Hasn't had the hardest route to get here, but of course got out of a group with Saxry and Tage in it, and that is no easy feat no matter which way you cut it.
Yeah, I agree, and I wonder if we'll see any, well, what we're going to see out of this game, right? Or this whole series. You pretty much saw a series dictated by gold bases with Hydra. And now we have a whole other breed, of course, with like, Jaedong and Rain. Two very solid players. Rain usually being a very more conservative player in ZVP or even in PvP as well. But I think nowadays he will go and he'll do some all-ins and he will kill you as well. So you can't really just kind of write him off as this macro player that only does that. So,
yeah, I mean,
very
wow,
interested
just
to see.
Just as you say that, Jaedong himself saying, I'm going to go right into the macro game, taking a third hatchery before that pool finishes up right around the 330 mark. Hasn't been scouted by his Protoss opponent, but I think this is going to be a bit more standard series than we saw out of the first players. This probe is going to make its way across and eventually see what's going on and smell what Jaedong is cooking. And, I think at this point, both players are like, okay, we got to handle the game, 4 minutes in, nothing too crazy. I see your Nexus. I'm getting my Overlord into your main. I'm seeing what you're making.
Yep.
There's nothing crazy right now. Both are feeling pretty okay, and they're gonna be willing to see this into the mid to late game. That's the indication that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, for sure. That third base being that early and not even getting a gas. He's gonna get a double gas most likely, but he's playing this almost like it's a forwards fast expand. Jaedong is, where he got that third base and he's off of no gas. So I wonder what his plan is. Will he try to use maybe a lot of queens in order to defend? Because if you don't have speed or you don't have roaches or anything like that, then those earlier game timings can kill you, especially if you take an early third. So I wonder how Rain is going to take this. A little bit of an... I thought he had an error here with his probes, but seems to be
I needed to save him. Ooh,
yep.
He might lose one. There's two lings are going to get on top of that one, and they do actually take one out. And they get a pretty decent scout of what he's going up against as the Mothership Core does pop out. He sees the main. One Ling survives out of that initial duo and is going to make its way around just to see, the entire main, get a good scout now. He doesn't need to keep that guy alive anymore. He has served his purpose. And at this point in time, we're going to see a wall off completed for Rain so he doesn't get disrupted anymore. He can proceed on to bigger and better things and continue to get his macro up. Back home, Jaedong. Well, he's doing all the Zerg stuff that you like to see them do, getting his, he's meeting his timings, not getting supply blocked. Of course, the dronage is happening. But, like you were talking about, it doesn't seem like he's going crazy with the queens. He's got one at his natural, one at his third, and one at his main, at this point in time. With, who did we saw make an absolute ton of queens? Was Hydra versus Jon Snow, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was crazy, I think. No, it was...
Hydra versus Saxry. Yeah, Hydra versus Saxry.
Yep, then he just made a bunch of queens. Yeah, that was kind of crazy too. But, here comes the gas out of Jaedong, and I guess what... Wow, did two more probes just go down, or was that from earlier? I think that was from earlier, but, yeah, two probes total. Oh, man, the thing is still here for Gameheart, and I thought that he had lost two more probes out of nowhere. But I guess what we're going to notice here is where the gas is going to go. No speed just yet. First 100 gas will go into Lair. And there's the speed too, so we may see some Roachling attack, or just that kind of style, very standard out of Jaedong so far. And Jaedong is a player that likes to go for mutas as well, so if you go Roachling, sometimes going right into mutas is a very nice transition. I wonder.
Yeah, he's of course got the roaches about to finish up, getting his Evo Chamber thrown down, so it's looking like one Evo Chamber just as of yet. And as a Zerg player yourself, what can you tell me about throwing down one Evo Chamber early off as opposed to two? So, just to allude a bit to the Terran race, sometimes you'll throw down a first engineering bay just to get your attack upgrades, and then go maybe armory into double E bay if you can. And so, we don't see the second Evo Chamber down for Jaedong just yet. So what's in his mind when he's doing that?
Yeah, I think you just kind of invest in one upgrade and you focus more on the units as well. Getting the double upgrades usually would mean that you're not going to have as many units out. But he is on 4 gases as well, and he's not going for Hydra. So the fact that he doesn't want to spend the gas on the upgrade, and you see it here, is Burrow. So he's going to get Burrow instead. He is getting Ling Speed, Road Speed, and Burrow. So that little extra gas that he would have maybe had floating, he's going to go into that, and we'll see if he even puts it into the tunneling clause too. That's what I'm wondering. We've seen him do this actually against... I forget who it was. I think it was Believe, actually. 3 base, and then just straight up roaches with Burrow, and you flood with Lings and roaches and try to kill your opponent. But it looks like Rain, rather, is going to be the one that is going to be pushing. This is perfect,
a lot of sentries here. Four Stalkers, 2 more Stalkers coming into play with the Mothership Core, of course. Jaedong getting around the back off of Creep, seeing if he can go ahead and snipe the forward pylons here. That's a lot of roaches, though, and they're going to get absolutely force fielded in. Stalkers are getting a little bit of a surround by the Lings here, but this is a lot of forces here for Rain. Of course, the forward pylon right there staying just fine as the Zealots are able to get in on top of these roaches. The force field's actually working a little bit to their disadvantage. The Zealots can't get right on top of the surface areas that they need, but, you know, Jaedong just needs to survive here. He's got 40 roaches on the way, +1 just about to finish.
Yes, Burrow, too. He's not using it just yet. And there's no observer here.
Bro is complete. He needs to remember that. Go ahead and throw them roaches down and get their healing going super crazily. 10 roaches about to pop, though. I think he holds this just enough, but there's a lot of force field energy still left over. Actually, I take that back. There's not as many as I thought.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Would have had.
But
yeah.
Rain is on no tech. This is an all-in. He was trying to sell his 3rd base, and he didn't make any more probes. You notice he's not making any more at the moment. It's going to be all units right now.
They're not mining from the 3rd at all, so exactly what you're talking about. Rain putting in here from Stalkers. The roaches are burrowed. Do you think, right, he knows what's going on. He sees that they're the little humps that they give off, the roaches do, and he's not going to go ahead and force the issue just yet. The Mothership Core is going to work on these drones as now the roaches pop out.
Yep.
They're going to just burrow again, and they're perfectly fine.
Oh, this is so perfect.
There's no observers.
Even the Queens, they're going to get that Mothership Core and the Burrow. He doesn't have to do anything here. It's up to Rain to make it happen. He's the one that's not on any tech. He's the one that's not mining off of a 3rd either. If he goes in to try to snipe that 3rd, well, guess what's going to happen? A bunch of those roaches are going to unburrow. He's going to use his cannon, though, in order to get that detection, which is the best that he can do right now.
And the roaches unburrow. Force field's going down, but a couple of them are able to get on the flank decently well. They're trying to snipe that cannon that they can. This is a lot of roaches, though. Force fields, there are 5 of them still out. More coming their way. I think Jaedong's going to have to back off here a little bit. But once those sentries run out of energy, it's going to be a bit of a free-for-all. Rain is living on borrowed time, as it were, and he's not even remaking anything right now. He's making 1 cannon. Meanwhile, what was going down, Pathogen Glands is the upgrade coming from our Zerg player. 4 infestors on the way. Man, if you get roaches unburrowed, and then Pathogen Gland Fungals landing, that's going to be a recipe for disaster from Rain.
It's going to be
I think he knows it.
He does, and this is something, and when you feel comfortable enough as a Zerg player to even get infestors out, he's holding against pretty much a 2-base all-in, right? But this is pretty crazy right now. There's no detection on the way. It's only going to be those cannons. So if he pushes on in, those cannons don't range out there, so this is it. He's going on in. Gonna borrow the front roaches. I think they are out of range of that cannon. Here comes Infestor number 1. Gonna get a fungal on all of the sentries. And if he can lock this down, another one.
Oh, the chain fungals go down. Oh my God, that's
everything.
So cute from Jaedong. Yo, so clutch from him. Of course, he got the Bird Banelings against Tasia in that game on Vani Research Station, and now it seems like the chain fungals with the... Oh man, that's just what the upgrade it is. You know, Infestor's coming in, so much energy, able to get the fungals down. I think Rain knows he's living on borrowed time. He has to make this work. More roaches, more lings, another fungal going down to the sentries. Tempo, it doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good at all for Rain. Looking like Jaedong, not the best of positions. These are going to be the almost final of the force fields, but with those fungals, those sentries, it's going to be their final force fields because they're going to be dead. Not only because they don't have any more energy. And this is Rain's last stand, man. He's trying to make it work. He still is not making any probes, not teching at all at home. And these 3 cannons are actually going to add some good DPS here. But that's it. There's one more fungal, not even anymore.
Another fungal. More roaches coming back from the back. The fungal's doing just enough damage. All the shields are gone on these stalkers. A great concave coming from Jaedong, plunging in supplies. The Protoss player Rain down to 67. And that's GG called. Game 1 going to Jaedong in convincing fashion.
TNT, aka Tempo and Tyrannus, and here we are on game number 2 on Deadwing. This guy, though, is up 1 game, showing that Zerg is pretty strong, as Hydra has already qualified, trying to follow in those footsteps. It is going to be the blue Zerg player representing Evil Geniuses, Jaedong.
Yeah, making a pretty early 3-hatch work against this guy, spawning in the top right. Diagonal spawns, of course, of Jaedong. Wearing the red trunks tonight, representing my insanity. It is Rain. And looking like he's going to go for an early Nexus out of before anything. And he's going to feel pretty good about this decision once he finds out that you're not in horizontal spawns, or vertical, rather. You are in cross spawns. And I think Jaedong thinking the same thing, going for that first hatch. And he might actually go up to 3 hatches. We see another drone making its way out at the 200 mineral mark out of the main base, which is pretty common for the 3rd hatch before pool. So, you know, looking like we're going to get some 3-hatch before pool action. And it's just about as different as we could have imagined, you know, this game between the ones that we saw earlier. The ones we saw earlier could not have been funkier with their base selections, and this one could not be more standard.
Yeah, 3S before pool on Deadwing, cross positions as well. Don't know if Jaedong has confirmed that it is cross yet, but this Overlord will go scout the natural first, and he will be happy to know that it is going to be cross. And that is confidence as well, where you're like, you know what, this guy's not going to go for the forge. I'm just going to go 3S before pool. And to do that is so risky, because if the Protoss player does open up with the forge, there's really no way for you to deal with the cannon rush, you know. So
yeah, it would be pretty difficult. I mean, how many drones do you have to pull in order to stop?
You have to pull a lot of drones. Yeah.
You know, I did cast a platinum ASL game recently in which I saw an ASL admin, Neuralisk, go 4-hatch before anything. So, you know, I think Jaedong probably saw that game and he goes, you know what, I can make this build a little better, but I'm not going to make the 4th hatch, and he's going to
just go to whatever.
We do have queens on the way.
Confident.
Right, we have 3 queens on the way, of course. You know, you need the queens for early defense, especially if you're going to go 3 hatches, 4 lings before he goes right into the extra dronage action. And Rain, of course, feeling pretty confident himself, just getting a Stalker, Mothership Core, more probes on the way, and 1 gateway as well. The Overlord is going to come in here, make the scout, confirm that he has taken an early Nexus. He's going to be able to know that this is early based on how many probes are already there droning, of course. And it's at 514
An interesting
mark,
thing. I was going to say that Jaedong didn't take any gas with this, you know, 3 hatch before pool into a gasless opener. Once again, he showed that he liked this kind of style earlier, even on Overgrowth. But look at here, man. Rain, Chrono boosting out that warp gate, adding an additional 2 gateways. I wonder if he's going to add a 3rd gateway, well, a 4th rather.
Yeah, we were just talking about how, you know, at the beginning of last game, how Rain can be a bit safer, can be a bit more standard of a Protoss player, especially in PvZ, but showing that, you know, he doesn't necessarily always play that, as he's trying to make sure that Ling doesn't get in and get a scout off, but it will do so and spot the extra 2 gates. Not a huge tell, but of course we see 2 more gates getting added on for the Protoss player, 3 more gates getting added on, so 4 more gates. Hold on, I'm just going to wait until Rain's done making gates before I say how many more gates are getting added on. 7 more gates? 8 more gates? No, we have 6 more gates. He's going to go for the 8 gate or what? I don't know, man. He's only on 1 gas here, or 2 gases rather. He Chrono boosted that out pretty heavily, and he's going to go straight for that all-in. I don't even know if Jaedong went for the speed. He's just going to try to deal with this with spine crawlers and queens and then roaches when he does get those out. Oh my god, he's getting a lair. I don't think Jaedong realizes what's going on here. He doesn't. He has no idea what's going on. His Overlord has not scouted the main and hasn't gotten in there. He saw it with the Lings, but I don't think he really read what was going down until he saw maybe the units on the map. You know, now we see more drones, but I mean 2 roaches on the way. He doesn't know what's going on.
He has no idea. I mean, he might have an idea because he did see the Chrono boost, but remember, he only saw 2 additional gateways. He didn't see the 3rd one, but he did see the Chrono boost, and I don't think he's taking this seriously enough, man. He is only up to 47 drones, though, so he didn't go too crazy on that department, but he's supply blocked. 3 Overlords are on the way here, and he doesn't have any way to make units right now, and Drain is pushing right on up.
Yeah, he's going to be able to make this hatch disappear if he wants to press it. Jaedong just able to shoo him away, but those Stalkers are numerous, and they're going to be able to target down Hatchery, so Jaedong taken into early. Wait, is he able to get it? Okay, no more Zealot coming in. Rain is going to make this happen. He is going to lose the Mothership Core in doing so. That's a lot of queens. Is there enough transfused energy? It only looks like 1, and he's going to use it on a queen. Now the Spine Crawler getting targeted down. More roaches on the way. Just 4, though. They're not going to pop in time. There's a lot of Stalkers here. Now drones are pulled.
Drones coming off the line.
Jaedong's still holding, but I think it's just going to be too much here. He doesn't have enough to deal with this, Jaedong does. Another queen goes down. More drones pulled. Stalker's getting a bit surrounded here, but eventually I have to make this work, right, Timbo?
I don't know, man. I feel like Rain is doing it, but Jaedong, he's trying to use Lings as well. They don't have speed, but they are going to use that creep to get a little bit of a speed boost, but having to pull the drones means that you kind of negate your whole base economy. It doesn't matter. Wow.
All right, StarCraft 2 viewers, of course, Heart of the Swarm edition, not Legacy of the Void just yet, unfortunately, but we got a series on hand regardless. Tempo, and of course, my name's Tyrannus here on Expedition Lost for this Game 3 of this Best of 5 series between these two players. This is EVP going down. Spawning in the top right, repping the blue, representing evil geniuses, it is Jaedong.
And his opponent, bringing it back for Protoss all across the world. He is going to be representing My Insanity as well as Korea. His name is Rain.
Yeah, and like we were talking about, you know, yeah, I feel it. Like, again, another confidence call, right? Feeling pretty confident himself. But, you know, like we were talking about, they basically just traded first map for second map as easily as Jaedong was able to dispel the 2-base all-in. From Overgrowth, Rain was able to take out the 3-hatch pool on Deadwing. So it's going to be hard for me to predict, you know, who's going to take this Game 3. But, you know, just in terms of where their minds are at, I think, you know, it just depends on who's going to be a bit more reactive of a player, because they're both pretty decisive, at least in their first 2 games, on what builds they were going to do, what they were going to go for. So it's who can respond better, who can be a bit more flexible, sort of thing. And another 3-hatch.
Really fast.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. He did get the pool for, the pool after the hatchery. But you know what? Yeah, you're right. And if it was like a player such as, say, like Arthur or something, right, then you would be able to predict it a little bit more and be like, well, if it does go into the late game, then you might give like someone like Jaedong a little bit more of an edge. But Rain is a solid late game player as well. So yeah, it's very, very hard to predict exactly who will take this. And we haven't really seen a lot of Jaedong lately. You know, he didn't play in Season 1 of WCS, but he just qualified for Season 2 yesterday in the first qualifier. So he's definitely putting in work. That is for sure.
Yeah, and of course, everyone, if you follow, you know, the StarCraft scene, even inconsistently throughout the years, you've at least heard of the name Jaedong. He's one of the most winningest, most popular guys of all time. So, of course, coming back from the Brood War days. And I think
right up there with Michael Jordan, man.
Yeah, and everyone connects. He's the Tiger Woods of StarCraft, and in more ways than one. And everyone can connect with the you know, that whole old champion bringing it back for the old guard feeling. And you know, I can't help but admit I've got a soft spot in my heart for the donger, the Jaedong.
Yeah,
you know.
And you do want to see him do well, like, you know, that old schooler. He's a legend pretty much, and
it's always good to see, man. He's got a bit of a baby face, isn't it?
Yeah, right. And the smile, of course, when he 6-pooled Scarlet, like the laugh.
Oh God, oh God.
I could never erase that out of my mind. Yo, but Rain, though, looking like he wants to make a name for himself. He has made a name for himself, just in general, and getting very aggressive in the last game. We'll see if he decides to do that again. Don't think he's chrono boosting out that warp gate this time, though, as he does get 4 gases, so he will most likely either tech or do that earlier Sentry expand again.
Yeah, he does confirm what's going on, and the Mothership Core is going to start trading with this Queen here. As the Stalker is getting whittled down, a little bit of hull damage as Lings are following across. You know, and we see a Stargate popping up. I don't know if, did you just mention that? I was tracking on...
Oh, no. Nope, that's okay, the first mention of it.
Sorry, Stargate popping up, but 3 Spore Crawlers at the same time going down for... our Zerg player here, so maybe a little bit of clairvoyance on his part. I don't think he spotted it, but of course it's pretty standard, especially, you know, if you want to be a little bit more safe. Certain Zergs will go ahead and forego getting the sort of static defense, but when it pays for itself tenfold, because it's like, what did my Queen just kill? Oh, it was 3 GTs, and the only reason I survived was because of that Spore Crawler right there. You know, it's like, okay, I'm going to do that more often. But, you know, Stargate just about to finish up. It's going to be interesting to see if it's Oracle or Phoenix, and it is an Oracle. Speed has just started for a Zerg player here. And it's an interesting choice, isn't it? I figured he would have gone Phoenix and just gone Overlord hunting.
That's what I was thinking, too. Like, more of a standard or macro-based build, usually. Or you can even go for, like, a Phoenix all-in with Zealots and whatnot. But the Oracle is very interesting in its own, where it's not going to get too much done. We talked about the Spore Crawler already being out. And now they'll defend against DTs as well, like you said. And Phoenixes is pretty much what they deal with too. And then Oracle is, I think, the one that gets shut down the most because it can't really stay there for too long. And when you're with like Phoenixes, I feel like you can like lift a few, take a few hits, and then kind of jet on out. So we'll see if this Oracle is able to get anything done. And it's going to try to get a few kills.
He's making it
nice
rain on
positioning,
these
actually.
drones here. Yeah, he got a couple. He got 3 kills. Going to make his way into the main as well. Spore Crawler does get a hit on the hull damage, though. And it does, get out with his life eventually. A Void Razor on the way. That's the call from Rain. So going into Air Tech as well as taking a 3rd Nexus back at home, but a Spire on the way for Jaedong. This is shaping up just as different as we could have asked from any of the original games. We haven't seen an air game. This is nice.
Yeah, with Rain going into the Twilight as well, just making use of that Stargate now. He's like, well, Oracle might not have done anything, but if he keeps it alive, he will be able to continue to keep an eye on Jaedong's army with the Revelation. Or was it the Envision? I can't remember which is which. I always forget, but...
Revelation.
Okay, so yeah, Revelation would be that. And, Jaedong feels very safe. When he sees a Stargate opener, it's 2 responses. You either drone up as hard as you can, or you scout and make sure that they're not going to do like a big Phoenix all-in. Or Oracle all-in with Zealots with +1 that just tear through Zerglings, but he confirmed the 3rd base from Rain. And, Rain's not going to try to swindle Jaedong again as he wasn't really successful with it on Overgrowth. He's actually going to probe it up this time and go into that late game.
Yeah, and this is what we were really expecting out of that first game in Overgrowth when we saw Rain take the 3rd. We were expecting him to go ahead and start plugging them drone numbers up and getting good economic backing to his production as well, and that's what we're seeing here. And if you look at the production tab, it's just everything that you would expect. Blinking +2 attack on the way for Rain. We've got 11 mutas on the way for Jaedong, and we know he loves his mutas. That's going to shut down the air. I mean, we've got +1 camera pace as well as roach speed. So, I mean, these are, fairly... if you're going to go Roachling, Muta, this is what we saw Impact do against Parting not too long ago, and he made it work to absolute perfection. And if you look at Rain's position on the map, that 3rd is a little bit out there. It's not the most convenient for him to defend. He is going to move out here. He's got some Stalkers and Sentries. But like I said, if Jaedong's able to push the advantage, which if you look at the mini-map, blue and red are going opposite ways, and they don't know each other. There's a recall called. And,
immediately.
Rain knew. That was really, really close.
He must have. He has the capabilities. He can make 1 Phoenix at a time, which isn't the greatest, but it's more so the Blink Stalkers with the upgrades that are going to be here to save him from the mutas. The fact that he did go for that, sometimes you'll see the Protosses go in and try to kill the Zerg player as they try to transition into mutas, because that's where they're weakest right now. But Rain decided that, if he has a 3rd base, he just has to defend it. And he has the confidence that he can go into the later game against a muta-going Zerg player.
Yeah, this is really interesting. More Lings and more mutas on the way. Another hatchery getting thrown down, so Jaedong going up to 5 hatcheries. And he's actually going to get his mutas in behind a targeting on these gateways, so he's going to limit a little bit of the production. Photon overcharge even going down for Rain. Raven even a bit of supply block here. I think Rain is going to have to make a decision pretty soon here, a la Terran all the time, of whether he needs to deal with these mutas or just move out. Getting a little bit caught out with these Lings. Going to have to use a couple of force fields. The Lings are able to get some
damage. There's no Mothership Core here, Tyrannus.
Oh man, this entire army! It's gonna get cut up!
It's gonna go down! The mutas on everything! The Lings are just gonna shred everything on the ground too, and Yep! Oh man! Even the Oracle getting a few kills here for Rain, but it does get away just with his life, barely. That was so clutch though. This means that Rain, how is he gonna try to base race here? He doesn't even really have a choice now. He's stuck at home.
Yeah, and Jaedong getting in with these mutas and Lings on the mineral line. I mean, you could almost trade mutas for Phoenixes except for the supporting Stalkers here, but instead Jaedong saying, you know what, yes I can, Tyrannus. Get in on the Stalkers, Lings surrounding Phoenixes, doing all they can, microing their little hearts out, but it's not enough right now. Jaedong making the numbers work for these mutas in and out and just zapping whatever they want.
Yep, he's getting pretty much everything here. The Phoenixes are doing work. They will clean up the mutas, but there's been a lot of damage that has been done. The Lings at the 3rd.
Coming out. But look what's coming out.
Oh my god,
the 3rd's gonna go down, and then it's just Hydras. And then it's just a massive amount of Hydras.
There's only gonna be Phoenixes in the sky. They're not even that heavy in energy here. They don't have a lot of energy. So they're gonna look at those Hydras and be like, oh no, why don't you mute us? And the Hydras would be like, hey, what's up? I was born this way, baby, and he's just gonna go on in. And now Rain sees it. He's gonna fly the Phoenixes over the Hydras. No!
God, 3 Phoenixes dying instantaneously, and Jaedong with the upper hand. GG called. 2-1 thus far. This best of 5. Yo, if you want to know how to tech switch Zerg against Protoss, you do what we just saw. That was pretty picture perfect. Yeah. Do that and you'll be good at Zerg.
Welcome back. Here, this is going to be game number, I want to say, wait, game number 3 or no, game number 4. The series is 2-1. This guy, though, he's down, actually, representing my insanity. The red Protoss player needs to bring it back. His name is Rain.
Yeah, I got to make it work against a player who is doing what I absolutely love to do, and I've seen it happen twice now, but we're going to get into his introductions. Currently up 2-1, representing Evil Geniuses. It is the Blueser player, Jaedong! Yo, okay.
Taking a page from the book of Hydra.
Tempo, tell me how you defeat this, okay? Like, I don't know. I just don't know how to defeat
I keep wondering, yeah. And especially with this going to be a gateway into Nexus 2. Yep, not even going to get that core. So a much greedier build, but means that he really can't punish as much, even if it were to be with tech. Going to focus on that economy first. But yeah, what do you do when it's going to be a gateway opener?
So the key to this, of course, is the early speed. Hydra got his speed right around the 6-minute mark, which gave him the ability to get just the right amount of lings out of the map to where if there were any pushes that he would have seen with his overlords, of course, scouting on this narrow yet not a lot of choke point map, I would say, Vonnie Research Station is. Not a lot of choke points, but long and narrow. So a lot of room for Zerglings to run around. And Rain is going to confirm his worst fear is that Jaedong's taking the gold.
It's like, wow.
And we saw patience up against this, and he did not react very well to this. And it's going to be interesting to see if Rain is going to be able to really punish this or not, because, like I said, key is early speed, and then he's going to go ahead and take the third in the natural third position, which would be there on the low ground right outside of his domain, and that means that his natural that you would take naturally is now his fourth. The safest fourth in the game.
Yeah. And that's not natural, man. That's just not.
No.
And you go ahead and take that as like your 4th base or something. It's pretty, we saw it happen as well in the Hydra series, but this is going to be a different strategy from Rain. Going to drop a Stargate. And
I like this.
Well, we saw him go Oracle last time. Do you think we do see a kind of gateway into Phoenix? Or does he go for that Oracle once more?
No, I think he's going to go Oracle because I don't think Jaedong's going to have a Spore Crawler up in time. And I think if Rain is able to, so we were talking about how you really punish a gold, right? And we were thinking about it as these lings try and make up their way. So if you go 2 base all in, or if you try and punish the early economic, as Jaedong has taken a third, if you try and punish the early economic advantage, your 2 base all in is on even quicker, more borrowed time than it would have been had you gone up against any other fast natural or fast third, right? And it is an Oracle called out of Rain. How do you defeat it if you can't kill the hatchery? Well, target the drones. Make Jaedong focus more so on, the basic building block of the Zerg economy, which of course is the drone, and make him make more than he wanted to, and make him focus on protecting them and this and that. And that's what Rain is really going for here. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. And this is something I heard from one of my early StarCraft 2 mentors. But he said, imagine it this way, Tyrannus, as I was like a silver Baron. Imagine every second you input into harassing your opponent is going to be 2 to 3 seconds that they input into dealing with that harassment. So, of course, any sort of Oracle play makes you do way more than it would have needed to just put the Oracle in on these drones. And it's going to come in here. The Queen is going to target it, but let's see how many kills it can get.
Yeah, there's no Spore Crawler, as you did say, and just the timing of this Oracle is so much more, it's quicker than the other one, and he's just going on in. It doesn't look like he is going to lose it, but does end up getting 6 kills, which is a lot better than he did before, and he can get a good scout into the natural, or at least into the main, if he decides to, but he has to be very careful here, as there is a Spore Crawler inside of the main. Don't know when it did go down, but it is up for now.
Yeah, and
in the third
it's another thing interesting to note. And the Oracle forced the Spore Crawlers. Those weren't down naturally. Those were down. They were down forced by this Oracle as it comes in, and it's gonna get some more. It's gonna get shield down, and it needs a jet out of there. He might actually lose it. Oh, very close. But, no, 10 kills.
10
now.
kills.
The instructor of an Oracle. And Rain making it work right now. Hydralisk Din is going down. I think a little. I mean, 8 minutes. Is that a pretty standard Hydralisk timing?
Yeah, I guess it really depends when you get your lair. If you decide to go for lair before your speed, but Jaedong did go for the speed, so it would be a little bit later than if he had rushed for it. But he did it as a response, I believe. As soon as that Oracle came in, then he said he was going to go for the Hydras. And kind of a little bit of a difference here, because remember last time, he went for the Spire first, and then he went into the Hydra. This time, maybe throwing Hydra for a loop, or throwing Rain for a loop. You could expect the kind of same response, but if Jaedong hits him with Hydras, I don't know if he's going to actually be prepared for it. Ling Hydra does very well against gateway units, or just non-Colossi units, I would say. Pretty much everything that's not
anything
a Colossus in Templar. Yeah. In Templar, High Templar.
Yeah, we have seen Blink Stalkers do, but Blink Stalkers like that handyman who's like, well, I'm not an electrician, but I can kind of look at wires and smack them around a bit. Like,
yeah, exactly.
If you have an insurmountable amount of Blink Stalkers, you can get a lot done. A lot of sentries are making.
I'm not on the unit counter screen, but if there was room for 2, I would be there. Like when you hit like F11 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this count is this.
But yeah, we do have these Lings and Sentries kind of dancing around in the middle of the map here. And the Oracle is still on 10 kills, but it's getting a pretty good scout off. It's noting that Jaedong is still only on the 3 bases. More Sentries and Stalkers kind of, as we see finally the Hydras make their way into the map. And they're going to be off creep because the creep spread from Jaedong, while it is making its way across the map, has not been stellar. And more kills coming across up to 12 kills, 13.
Oh, there's still no
the Jet out.
Spore here. Yeah, there's no Spore there still. And with no 4th base here from Jaedong, I wonder what his game plan is. Rain is already going for his 3rd. He's mining from it, and Jaedong knows about this, so maybe these drones that are going down to the Oracle are taking a little bit more of a toll than we may actually be thinking. Because you would assume that 4th base would have gone as soon as he confirmed the 3rd, unless he thought that Rain was going to try to sell it again as a 3rd and then all in him.
Yeah, Ling's making their way into the 3rd, forces the Photon overcharge, a little bit of a drone pool there. 13 kills on this Oracle as he gets some more shields taken off of him, and he's just, he's on borrowed time. He's the Oracle.
He's having the time of his life, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Up to 13 kills. I mean, he gets a
reveal. And he gets a revelation, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
but Rain getting a little bit aggressive here onto the map. His upgrades are really good. He's gonna blink on top of all of the Hydras, and Jaedong is on the run. He's gonna go try to retreat to the creep, get a little bit of a better position. But Rain has played this one out really well already. Yeah.
We see a second Stargate going down for Rain. He saw the Hydras, says, I'm not scared, the first game. But we do have that Spire go down and +1 attack. Jaedong does love his mutas. Finally taking, of course, that 4th hatchery going to go down. But Rain pressuring forward some Blink Stalkers here. He does have force fields go off, but they're not going to be in time to section off the Lings as he's blinking back these Stalkers expertly as we would have expected. Spine Crawler is going to go down rather shortly. Rain has a slight supply advantage of here. Force fields are going down pretty good just to segment that army. This is not going to be a hatchery any longer.
Yeah, it's going to go down. There's enough energy for a recall. He's going to get on out. Almost got targeted down, though, but that's all you really have to do with that late 4th. That means that it's only going to be a 3rd here since that goal did get killed, and that's it. Jaedong just feels like he can't. My goodness. Wow, GG. Rain ties up the series 2-2.
Right, ladies and gentlemen. It might be happening, so we're going to get right into the player introductions. And you know what? I'm going to do this in my NPR radio broadcaster voice, spawning in the bottom right-hand side of Catalina. At the 5 o'clock position, representing my insanity, it is the red Protoss player, Rain.
Is he going to do it?
He's got to do it.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be a forge.
Right.
We're about to see a forge.
Oh, boy. Well,
but
you don't have to go on him right now, but spawning in the... Yes! Spawning in the west side of Catalina. Representing Evil Genius is gonna be Jaedong. But you know what? He is going for 14-14.
So I mean, it's a perfect response. Rain's gonna lose to a cannon rush. The second Protoss player in a row to lose to Jaedong on Catalina. It's because, and he's
because of a cannon rush. Overlord. Well, hey, you have to take this into account too. Going for a 14-14 against Ford's fast expand, say Rain doesn't go for the cannon rush and just drops a cannon at home and then expands. It's actually a worse build order if you don't do anything with the 14-14. Yeah. So if Rain is able to be like, all right.
Okay.
not going to be too bad. And I think Jaedong hoping that Rain goes for a Nexus first, and he didn't. The first time he goes for a Forge. So, wow. That's actually going to work out for him, I think. All Rain has to do here is wall off. We'll see if Jaedong commits to the Ling attack here, because he still could commit to it if he wanted to. But he might just kind of take his loss and say, all right.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. He does get a hatchery down. Wow. I mean, that was about as close to a Canada Rush as you can come. That was
he wanted to do it, right? He wanted to.
Ray was thinking it, and then he was like, you know, I see the 14, I see the timing of the gas in the pool. I can't. He has hidden a probe up here in the top part of the map as he's about to complete his wall, and we're gonna see what Probe Steve up here in the corners is gonna do. He went to probe school to be a builder, but instead
Probe even has Steve, a mineral in his mouth.
Special ops probe. Out there on the map. He's got his probe camo on. Nah, he's
just hiding. He doesn't have like any. There's like no bushes or anything. Look at him. He's got his ambitious.
Yeah, he wants to be an immortal. He wants to be something when he grows up.
Yeah, I don't know if. I mean, what? He's gonna get got by the Ling. Oh, so brave! No. So brave! Yeah. So brave!
No,
and he does spot the third base.
He's going to live for a little bit longer, I think.
Yep. But that's pretty good, though, for Jaedong. Now that means that any type of potential attack coming out of Rain is going to be delayed a bit because he has to send out another probe. And Speed was Speed was not invested into, by the way, it looks like. Yeah, I thought that Jaedong was going to do it, but you know what? He said nope. He might use that 100 gas for the lair and do a regular lair timing. Just a little bit later because he did have to go for,
More importantly, Steve the probe made it home alive.
Did he make it home? No way.
Yeah, he made it home.
I thought he was going to get taken out. Wow. Oh,
no, like I said, there wasn't. He will
see another day.
Yeah, he's a marathon runner, dude.
Marathon runner. He's a mortal dreamer. He's just an all-around good guy. You know, he'll help
Overlord making its way.
Grandma walk across the street.
Steve the pro, man. Yeah, doing a lot of stuff.
You can't spell pro without pro, you know. So.
Whoa! You also can't.
Hey.
Well, I was going to come up with something else, but don't know where I was going with that. And Overlord does scout
wait, what did... Yeah, I was going to say, what did we see last time? Remember when Rain did that crazy build with the, not even Immortal, but the Warp Prism and a lot of gateways? It was on this map, too. He got the Warp Prism coming out. How many more gateways are we going to see here? Oh man, we might see that cool all-in that we did see, where he does warp in inside of the main of Jaedong with a bunch of sentries and stalkers, still off of 4 gas, right? But no Immortal, straight gateway units.
And he's hitting it pretty well on the side of his base there. The Overlord did see the Robo, but he's not going to see the extra gates out of that. And of course, Jaedong probably smelling something's up, and of course he's not going to go ahead and be that greedy and go take a 4th just yet. It is, of course, only the 7-minute and 40 mark. The Warp Prism is going to start to make its way out, trying to dodge these Overlords though, getting 2 sentries up in it, and of course, if you get 3 sentries, I think that's a ramp that's been blocked for forever.
I think it's 4 with the initial energy. If you have at least 2 force fields on each of those sentries, then you can do it with 3 for a bit. But if you want to do it forever, then you're going to need to get that 4th sentry. So what we're going to see here is Jaedong going for a 1-1, or at least +1 melee. And, you know, +1's already going to finish on the Zealots, man. He's going to try to defend against this with only Lings. He doesn't even have a Roach Warren out. Jaedong, I think he's in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, Rain gonna go ahead and see if he can drop down those sentries in the main ramp. Now he's gonna go ahead and open up and drop down on the bottom, and we got some Zealots getting surrounded here by these Lings. Jaedong's Lings are gonna get poked away by more Zealots and more sentries. He's keeping the sentries up in the Prism, and I like that idea because it means that he's only gonna deploy them and use them when he absolutely needs them, and they're not gonna get caught out on the ground and surrounded unnecessarily. 3 going down at the top here above the ramp. Zealots fighting Lings. Queens to support. Now we've got more warping in for Rain here. That's a lot of Zealots in this.
There's so many
now.
Yeah. And the upgrade isn't even done here for Jaedong yet. He's going to try to deal with this with only Ling. And this is before his +1 even finishes. Rain's +1 has been done. Queens and Lings are going to be the choice here for Jaedong. He's losing a lot of drones. And Rain hitting with a little bit of an awkward timing here. Jaedong maybe preparing for the... Oh, Mothership Core does go down. So there is a little bit of hope here. And I think Jaedong was preparing for like the Immortal Sentry timing, but this hits a little bit earlier, I believe.
Yeah, it definitely hits earlier. I mean, it's hit pretty strong. Lots of Zealots, Force Field Stalkers in the back. Only 3 Queens, one's just going down. You can't defeat this with Lings. You can't defeat this with Drone Pools. He's down. His Macro Hatch is even there. And you know what? Drain is just perfectly fine to get the 5th victory. Wow. The 5th game victory out of the way. GG called, Rain.
He does it, man. Makes it to the semifinals. Whew, what a series, man. This one has been, back and forth, out of control. Qualifies for GSL and then goes on, taking out a recent WCS qualifier, Jaedong, and to the end, man, to the wire, right to the end. Yeah. So hard to call who would even make it out between the two.